two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those vegan guys. I thank you.
Hiya, I'm Paul.
I'm Jason.
And together we are Those Vegan Guys. But together we're also a gay married couple. And this video isn't necessarily anything to do with veganism, but we have to say something and lend our voice to the fight against homophobia, which is raising its ugly head again in Birmingham and Brunei.
And everywhere else, really.
And everywhere else, but those are the two places kind of really highlighted at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's this fantastic scheme in Birmingham, the No Outsiders scheme, which is teaching young people about acceptance. And that it's that some families have two mums, some families have two dads, and there are all these people in the streets protesting education. I can't fathom that. I can't fathom parents protesting their children learning about the world that they will grow up in.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think there's a misconception with some parents that they're essentially teaching these very young children, 5, 6, 7 years old, the gay birds and the bees. And it's simply not the case. What we are talking about, particularly here in this country, but over in the States as well, and other parts of Europe and the world, is about kids and young people growing up in a way where they understand the world that they live in. Simple.
And the people that they share that world with.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's been, we and others have actually a company called Pink Triangle Theatre, and for 6 years of our lives we toured a show called Show One with Pink Triangle Theatre that we all wrote, which was a 30-minute performance for schools, colleges, prisons, workplaces, a 30-minute performance highlighting homophobia and transphobia. And then we would have, particularly in schools and in prisons actually, we would have a discussion workshop afterwards, whether it be teachers, pupils, whatever. Very wonderful 6 years of our lives. And the feedback that we got from those shows was absolutely incredible, because young people are at the core, at their root, at the natural human core, completely non-judgmental and accepting and open. You have to be taught to be discriminatory, intolerant, hateful. Those are traits that are taught from parent to child.
Couldn't agree more. And obviously we have to touch on the fact that yes, we understand that some people are opposed to this for religious reasons. However, we also have to own in that same light that whatever religion you prescribe to, you've still got to live within modern society, and throughout society and throughout the animal kingdom we see same-sex couples. It's existed since time began. It will never go away. It's genetic, and children need to grow up in a world to understand that, and that's all.
And to know that if that's within them, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because what we don't want is a generation of young people growing up. I mean, 95% of the world is religious, apparently.
I think it's probably less than that now, but...
Yeah, I mean, it might be. And this is no particular faith, by the way, because Christians, Jews and Muslims have all protested together outside this school in Birmingham. And I've read a story just this very morning, which is Sunday what are we, in April?
Oh, you always put me on the spot, don't you, with these videos?
Oh, I'm sorry, love. 14th. Sunday the 14th of April. I've read a story just this morning about a woman protesting outside this school in Birmingham who's clearly said, I'll kill my son if he's gay. Really? God, religion, love? I mean, I'm an atheist, and I'm accepting of people and their many wonderful pages, because we have to be. And then, of course, we've got Brunei, who have just made it law that adulterers and homosexual men can be stoned to death. Stoned to death.
We're back to the Dark Ages, aren't we? We really are back to the Dark Ages. So, a massive amount of controversy around Brunei as well. But let's not forget that we're seeing this rise all over the place of intolerance, homophobia, bigotry, the rise of the right wing. And we have to do all we can to try and combat that. We've been together 22 years. We love each other. We end every video with the same thing. What do we end every video with?
Oh, well, let's do it at the end of the video, because
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet.
No, okay. Well, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not
But we
quite
do
there
end all of our videos with the same thing, and we'll end this video with the same thing as we always do. But there's power in that statement, and it's so simple. But ultimately,
Bill and Ted knew what they were talking about, man.
regardless of religion, it really is about looking out for each other and being really understanding of the society that we live in, and kids growing up with emotional intelligence and really understanding. I can't drum that home enough. Both of us have worked in mental health for so many years, and done a lot of work with young people. And like you said before, Paul, kids, they're not bothered. They don't care.
Do you remember the incident with the young lad down at Failsworth School?
Yeah, I do.
Which was, I'll tell you, I'm putting no time limits on this video, it's too important a subject. But we were doing a show at a school quite local to us, very cathartic for me, because I went to that school and got bullied for being gay and left that school. So going back there to do an anti-homophobia show with our Pink Triangle Theatre. Oh, and by the way, somebody filmed our show at an event once, and there's a pretty good video of it, and I'll link it down there in the information because it gives you a good idea of what the show kind of was. But anyway, we did the show and it was great, and then we did the discussion workshop. And there was a little bit in our show where at the end, one of our actors performed this beautiful, very powerful monologue about, what is it about me that you can't tolerate? At what point does it become too much? And me and Jason were stood up front, weren't we, at that point? And we'd say, there'd be 3, is it now? So the first, is it now? We held hands. The second, is it now? Arms around each other. The third, is it now? Very simple. That was it. But it was a powerful thing in this. Anyway, this young lad at the end said, "Why did you have to kiss each other at the end?" And I said, well, why shouldn't we? We're married. We're a couple. It wasn't a snog. It was just a kiss, and it was to, had it been a man and a woman up here, you wouldn't be having that reaction. And that's the point. That's what we're trying to get home. Anyway, one of our lovely actresses she sat with him for a good kind of 20 minutes, didn't she? And had a really, really good chat. And I went up after a while and just said, "Do you get it now? I saw she had a chat with you." And he said, yeah, but, I said, "So, do you accept it now, then?" And he said, "No, not really." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because that's how I've been brought up." This was a 12-year-old boy. And it was like, that was a real, even he was acknowledging, this is what I've been taught.
Yeah.
This is, I can't just get rid of it like that. So when you put these things on the young people in your life, you burden them with it, because even if they feel it's wrong, it's something that's been given to them by their parents or their loved ones or their grandparents. And passing on hate is one of the most despicable things that you can do as a human being, it's disgusting. I mean, it is though, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. It's the worst that you can do. And to teach somebody to hate somebody else for whatever reason is utterly despicable, in our humble opinion. And as I said before, we need to rise up and fight against it any way that we can. We are quite outspoken, we do a lot of work within our community, and we'll continue to do that work.
We're very accepted in our community though, aren't we? We're known as, in our hometown, in our local area even, we're known as a gay married couple. I mean, we got together on the 19th of June 1997. So this year, 2019, we will have been together, a couple, 22 years. And it's our 10th wedding anniversary this year, isn't it?
It is.
Speaking of wedding anniversaries, have a look at this.
I'm going to ask the new couple to leave the room now, but before we do, if we can have a round of applause for them.
It's just a beautiful little moment that a friend of ours filmed for us on our wedding day, which was legally our civil ceremony day, civil partnership day. And then on the very first day that you could convert from a civil partnership to a marriage certificate, we did that. We went to the registry office and got our certificate upgraded, didn't we?
We did.
That was a little bit sad actually though, because even though it got backdated to the day we got civilly partnered, so legally we have now been married for 10 years this year, on our civil ceremony certificate it said Cyril Wilde father, my father, retired, and on the marriage, on the even though it's dated from our wedding day, it says deceased. That was a bit like, because he wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
At the time, but he was when we got the certificate upgraded. But yeah, man, love is love. Love is love is love is love is love. So please stand up for your LGBTQIA brothers, sisters, family members, friends, allies, neighbours. We're all right.
We're better than all right.
We're nice folk, us.
We are, but so's everyone
Nice.
else.
Oh, I shouldn't say that.
We're good folk.
Oh yeah, Oprah Winfrey taught me that. Don't say that you're nice, because you're not always. I'm not always nice, but I am always good at the core. You know. So yeah, please, you know, if you hear people being homophobic, don't stand for it. Don't get confrontational though, but if it's someone you know, at least try and have a discussion about it. Share this video maybe. This guy is my husband, my lover, my best friend, the person I want to be with most in the world. And it's not a...
Ditto, by the way.
Thanks, love. It's an emotional love, it's a spiritual love, it's a connection. It's not just about, you know, bumping bits together, which is what people automatically think, and then they go, oh, of course, you know. So yeah, shall we?
Keep fighting the good fight.
Please.
And we'll do the same, because we love you.
Yep. Birmingham to Brunei and all around the world, homophobia will thrive only if it's allowed to. Transphobia will thrive only if it's allowed to. territorial behaviour, jingoism, nationalism, hatred, racism, they thrive because they're allowed to. Don't allow them to. And you know, the simplest way not to allow them to is, let's say first, love you.
Love you.
Love you. Please be excellent to each other. See you soon.